Are we live? Are we live? You can get used to me saying that. Hello, hello. If you're with me tonight, can you let me know if you hear me? How's my sound? How's my lighting? Can you see me? Okay, I'm in a new location this week. How is my sound and my lighting? Let me know in the comments, please. Let me know in the comments. But tonight, I wanted to get on and talk about financial freedom. Let's talk about financial freedom. I saw some online chatter in these social media streets, and people were talking about financial freedom. And based on some of the things being said, it was a bunch of the same regurgitated myths that people use all the time as excuses for not being able to achieve financial freedom. And I know how social media is and how myths and quotes can go viral. So I said, mm-mm. Before anyone in my community sees this, I need to talk about it. I need to talk about it. So when you do see it, because it was some pretty popular people saying it, or if you do see it again, if you've already seen it, I want you to know that it isn't true. Okay? But I won't be rude this week. So before we get into the topic, let me introduce myself. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, financial besties. Who's with me this week? Let me see who's with me this week. Hey, Elle. Hey, girl. Hey. How you doing? How you been? Thank you for the sound check and the lighting check. Shantavia. Hey girl, hey, how you doing? And Pink Door Diva. Girl, you know pink my favorite color, right? I like you already. I don't think I've seen your name before, but I like you already. And she bad. I know that's right. Hey, Karima. How you doing? Karima from Delaware. What's up, girl? And if you're watching the replay, comment replay gang. I love to see the replay gang comments and I try to reply to all of them. So let me know if you're here with me live and let me know if you're watching the replay. Either way, I am glad you are here. But for those who don't know me, hey girl, hey. My name is Malika and I am a money coach. My personal finance journey spans from being a single mother on welfare. I was on welfare for almost 10 years. If a government benefit exists, baby, I probably had it. But I've overcome that time in my life. And now I am a self made multimillionaire. And I did it by investing in the stock market. I've decided to stop saying that I retired early or that I've reached early retirement because for some reason the algorithm has been showing me all kinds of crazy ads lately. So YouTube, Google, no, I don't need a hip replacement. And no, I do not need a life alert device. Okay. So I will not be saying I retired early anymore. I am removing that from my social media from my social media language. So instead, I prefer to say that I achieved financial freedom. So I am now work optional. I am now work optional. And since I left my career, I have been slow traveling the world. I just recently spent about 6 weeks in London, and now I'm in Barcelona. So, other than traveling, I also enjoy helping women Learn to manage money and invest with ease so you can achieve financial freedom and live whatever you love. That might be bopping around, it might be moving abroad, it might be sitting at home crocheting all day if you want to. Whatever it is that you love. So if that sounds like your vibe, then join my tribe, girl, and subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and tap that button. I'll wait. And like the video while you're down there too. But welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so glad you're here. Let me see who else is with us. I see C. Sanders. C. Saunders. Am I saying that correctly? Pink Door Divas, this is your first time here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Diane. Hello. How you doing? How you been? And hey, Greta, that is a name that I see almost every week. I love to see you. Hey, girl. Hey. She bad. Hey, girl. Let's see. I think that is everyone that's with us tonight so far. Oh, Pink Girls Diva said, I love all of that. I love your name. Love your name. I will love to see you in my comments every single time. But anyway, let's get into the topic for this live. I want to talk about financial freedom. Do you think financial freedom is impossible, or do you think it's possible for you? Let's talk about it. Do you think financial freedom is impossible, or do you think it's possible? Hey, Melissa. Hey, girl. Hey. Let's talk about it. So, I want to share a little more about my financial journey. Elle says, possible. Yes, yes. I want to share a little more about my financial journey, what I call from food stamps to financial freedom. I want to talk to you about your financial journey, and feel free to ask me anything. Ask me anything in the comments, and I will answer it to the best of my ability. And more importantly, I want to talk about the hardest part of this process because it isn't easy. Even though I know it's possible, I will not lie to you and say it was easy. I think it can be impossible if you don't overcome some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. And it's what I refer to as the hardest part of financial freedom. And spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with money. The hardest part has nothing to do with money. It might surprise you, but the hardest parts of achieving financial freedom is 100% within your control, and it has nothing to do with money. Right? Yes, Global Explorer, I agree with you. It's possible, but it's not easy. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Pink Door Diva said, it's possible if I know exactly what to do. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad you all know that it's possible. Um, I don't I don't think I've talked about this on my channel before. I probably have like really surface level, but I know I went into more detail when I had that chat on Adelia's channel. So if you follow Adelia, Picky Girl Travels the World, I'm sure you noticed about me already. But I had my daughter when I was a teenager. I was only 17 years old. I graduated high school when I was about 8.5, almost 9 months pregnant. And I gave birth after walking across the stage waddling with a big old belly. I gave birth less than a month later. So I'm sure you can imagine what life was like for me. When I entered my first few years of adulthood, I immediately became a mother and responsible for a whole human being at 17 years old. Right? I became a welfare statistic. I can say that because it's a fact. I can admit that without shame because I probably fit the description of every negative opinion someone has when they think of a single mother. I wasn't with her father. After she was about 2 years old, we had no relationship at all, completely no contact. I didn't work. I did like little jobs, like work study around my class schedule when I was in school, but I didn't work a full time job. If you saw the interview on Adelia's channel, you saw the issue I had with the social worker because I wasn't working the full time job that she wanted me to work. But as I mentioned, I was on welfare. I was getting a check every month. I was getting food stamps. I was getting, I think they call it WIC. Now, I think they still call it WIC, but I was getting WIC, the vouchers for the food, I mean, the milk and the cheese and the cereal. I was getting WIC. I was getting daycare assistance. I was getting Section 8 housing assistance. When I tell you, if the government subsidy existed, I probably received it. I can't even think of all the things I received off the top of my head, but those are the main ones. I had it all of the things. I was the typical example of a single mother, poor and broke and on welfare. And I say that without hesitation and without shame because it is what it is. It's not my reality now, but it was. And it's part of what made me who I am today. So I'm not ashamed of it at all. And I share that because I want you to fully understand my financial background when I'm talking to you about money. I am sharing with you the things that I know, the things that I have personally experienced, not something I read in a book, not some notes I jotted down because I was following somebody on social media. These are my lived experiences based on literally starting from the bottom. I want you to know where I'm coming from, what my perspective is when I'm sharing my thoughts about money, about investing, and about financial freedom. But anyway, so I was on welfare for the better part of 10 years. Again, if you remember that chat with Adelia, I had a very humiliating experience. I'm not going to go into it again here because if you remember that video on Adelia's channel, I got very emotional and I still do because it feels so real, like it just happened last week or something. It feels so recent, I should say, not real. It's definitely real, but it feels so recent and it still takes me there. So I'm not going to get into details anymore, but it was a humiliating experience I had with a social worker during my annual recertification process. It hurt my feelings so bad, it embarrassed me, and it made me angry. And that anger is what changed the financial trajectory of my life. I went on to earn the college degrees. And I say degrees with an S because it was multiple, right? I went on to establish my career and eventually become financially self sufficient to get off welfare. So I say all that to say, I guess you could say I made it at that point because I was able to get off welfare. I was able to establish a career and become financially self sufficient. But to me, that wasn't enough. I still wasn't satisfied because I never, ever, ever wanted to have to go back to welfare or needing financial assistance from anyone ever again. I did not want to be in survival mode for my entire life. And to me, relying on a salary, that's still survival mode because if the employer takes your salary away, you're one paycheck from the welfare line, right? So I did not want to be reliant on anyone for anything because of that humiliating experience. It literally changed something in my mind. It's like something clicked, and I wanted to be completely self sufficient. Being financially comfortable and financially secure wasn't enough. I wanted to be financially independent. And because of that, I learned to invest. And I was introduced to this whole new world of financial freedom when I started talking about my finances online. Some of you know me from my blogging days when I used to blog about my personal finances. When I first started learning about financial freedom and financial independence, it was such a long time ago. But I will admit, when I first started learning, I had a lot of, I guess you can call them limiting beliefs. And those limiting beliefs stifled my ability to elevate to that next financial level. So I had the degrees, I had the good job, I had the good salary. But again, if you're laid off or if you're fired, what you going to do? You're still not financially independent. You're still not financially free because you need that job in order to survive. You're still in survival mode. And it was hard for me to elevate above that because I still had a lot of limiting beliefs. And to be honest, those limiting beliefs made achieving financial freedom harder. And based on what I saw in that social media chatter, and based on what I see a lot of people saying, those limiting beliefs are very common. And that's what makes financial freedom impossible for a lot of people. It's not the money, it's the limiting beliefs. And it limited me too. And I think because of those limiting beliefs, it took me a lot longer to achieve financial freedom. I probably could have did it in way less time, but it was part of my learning process. So I don't regret it. I don't regret any hardships I had. The time I spent on welfare, the time I spent overcoming the limiting beliefs, all the, I wouldn't even call them negative things, all of the challenges that I experienced. I don't regret any of them because the combination of them all is what helped me to become the person I am today. And I love her. I love the Malika today. So I consider it part of my learning process, and I choose to pay it forward and share the things that I've learned with you all. Is that cool? Y'all want to get into that tonight? Is that cool? Let me see the comments. Shebad said discipline. So discipline is one of the challenges that can make financial freedom impossible. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. C. Saunders said, I think financial freedom is possible. I just need to be able to get out of debt. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. And Greta, limiting beliefs is a daily battle, renewing my mind daily. Yes, it is a daily battle. It is a daily battle. And we have to reframe our thoughts because a lot of the beliefs that we have, they are beliefs that were ingrained in us from childhood. It's things that we learned from our parents and our grandparents and our other elders that were around us, and they taught us what they knew because that's all they knew. And also, a lot of our limiting beliefs are by design. A lot of our limiting beliefs are by design as a result of a system that was created to keep you on the hamster wheel, that was created to keep you satisfied with having a good job, with getting that steady paycheck, getting that check so you can buy that car, so you can buy that house. And then people celebrate, I bought a house. That's wonderful. What if you lose your job? Then what? Right? All of that is by design. That American dream And financial freedom, it to me, it's better than the American dream because you will have the resources to buy all the things that you would want if you desire all the material um, trappings of the American dream. But financial freedom is so much more than that. It's so much more than that. So let's talk about some of the limiting beliefs that make financial freedom nearly impossible for so many people. Let's see. C. Sanders said, it's also hard with these toxic, let's see, it's also hard with these toxic work environments. So we tend to leave jobs every so often, thus making it hard to really amass a lot of money. Okay. Let's talk about that because I don't think any of the things that make financial freedom impossible, I don't think any of the limiting beliefs have anything to do with money. I really don't. But we'll get into it in a minute. All right. Let's get into it now. So, the first limiting belief that I found to be very common, and I also had this limiting belief um, when I was on welfare, when I got off welfare and had the good job and thought I made it. It's viewing the financial system as the enemy. I am guilty of it myself, criticizing our financial system, criticizing our economy, criticizing capitalism, right? You've heard me say it, but it's so common to view the financial system as the enemy, especially if you're from a marginalized community, right? But here's the thing, if you view the financial system as the enemy, you will constantly stay stuck in a cycle that was created by that same system. You will be stuck in a debt cycle where you're paying off debt and then you're running it back up. You're paying off debt and you're shuffling the debt. We talked about that last week on the live. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul cycle to make ends meet. You're in a constant hustle and grind cycle because you feel like you have to be working all the hours and doing the side hustle and working the second job to make this money so you can buy this, so you can do that. That's part of the cycle. That's designed by the same system. Getting another degree or another certification because you think you need it just to earn a little more money. That's a cycle too. They say Black women are the most educated women in the United States. And there was a joke going around earlier this year. It was a meme, and it was saying that when a Black woman is bored, she goes back to school to get another degree. That's part of the cycle. Because when we go to school to get another degree, where the money coming from? Girl, that's more student loan debt. You see where I'm going with this? Does anyone have that limiting belief where you view the financial system, the economy, the system in the United States, capitalism, as the enemy? But yet, when you view it as the enemy, it keeps you stuck in a cycle that was created by that same system, right? And in order to overcome that limiting belief so that financial freedom is not impossible, you have to learn how to use the system to your advantage. Well, first, you have to learn how the system works and then use it to your advantage. So you can't view it as an enemy. And I'll give you an example. So, as part of our capitalist society, right? We have a marginal tax system. Our marginal tax system was created to benefit investors and business owners. If you are an employee, and this is just one example, but if you are an employee, if your goal is to get a degree, go in student loan debt, after you get this degree, you go get a job, make that good money, make that six figures. Then when you make the money, you go buy a house. Then you go into debt because you got to get a mortgage loan. And then you go buy a car, and then you get a car loan, and you get all these loans, and you have all this debt and all these bills. So you need the job to pay for the bills, and you're stuck in this cycle, right? And you rely on this employer for your livelihood. So you're still in survival mode. But getting back to the example of our marginal tax system, so it was created to benefit investors and business owners. So if you're an employee, you pay taxes first. So you work. Before you even get paid, taxes are taken out. You pay taxes first, then you receive money to pay for expenses to live on. As an investor and a business owner, I get to use my money first. And then I pay taxes on what's left. So that's just one example of how the system works. And if you learn how the system works and learn to use it to your advantage, it will make it a lot easier for you to achieve financial freedom. All right. Any feedback on that first one before I move on? And if that was helpful, hit the like button. Hit the like button for me to give me your feedback. See, Sandra said, financial freedom is the real American dream. It's the dream, but I don't think many people think it's possible for them. It's not the American dream that's taught to us. The American dream is getting a college degree, getting a good job, and buying a house and having 2.5 kids with a white picket fence. That's the American dream, right? See, Greta said, I view my job as a tool in building financial freedom. Yes. At 55, jumping from job to job is limited. Age discrimination is very real. Yeah, I can imagine that. But I like the first part of your statement. I view my job as a tool in building financial freedom. When I was working, I viewed my job as if we were in a business partnership together. My job was funding my dreams. My job provided the resources so that I can live the life that I live now. So I didn't hate my job. I didn't hate my employer. In fact, I loved the experience that I had because it afforded me the privilege to live the way I do now. So my job was my business partner. My job was my business partner for 20 years. But I had to use that partnership to my advantage. So when I decided to go solo, I had the solid foundation that I needed to go into business for myself. Right? Right. I like that. You use your job as a tool to build financial freedom. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Maya said, it's food for thought. I'm working on a balanced view of capitalism. There are problems with capitalism. Yes, I agree. I agree. But knowing how money works can help us. Absolutely, Maya. I certainly agree. There are problems. There are problems. And I'm just suggesting that you learn instead of completely rejecting it, because the system is not going to go away, right? So instead of completely rejecting it, learn how it works and use it to your advantage. Learn how to leverage the system to your benefit. It's going to exist anyway. You live in the country where it exists. Even if you move out of the country, you still got to pay US taxes. You still got to pay US taxes. Now, there are different tax advantages and different tax loopholes to reduce your taxable liability. But even if you move out of the country, unless you relinquish your citizenship, you're still going to pay US taxes. So, that tax example was just one example, but learn how the system works and leverage it and use it to your advantage. That's all I'm saying. Right? That's all I'm saying. So learn how the game is played. Hey, KJ from around the world. Glad I made it. We'll have to go back for the beginning. Hey, girl. Hey. Cozy at Coco's. Hey, I like that name. I like that analogy. Your job is your business partner. Yes, your job is your business partner. Let your job fund your dreams. Let your job fund your dreams. But yes, so if that was helpful, hit the like button, y'all. The second thing that makes financial freedom impossible is another limiting belief that I used to have. And I used to say this all the time, but you are limiting yourself if you say things like, all I need is, and you insert a specific amount. I don't need to be rich. All I need is just enough to XYZ. Oh, I don't need all that. All I need is a job to pay $50,000, $80,000, $100,000. You fill in the blank. Whatever it is that you say, you're limiting the ceiling on what's possible. I hear so often when people say, I don't need this. All I need is XYZ. And I remember when I first graduated college, I was so happy to finally be finished with school because that social worker was like, oh, you've been in school for so long. When you going to get a real job? And it was very discouraging because I had been in and out of school for a long time. I had even flunked out my first attempt. So when I first finished school, I felt like that was my first opportunity to get a real job, right? And I remember saying, "Oh, all I need is a job to pay me $50,000." I remember that was my dream. That was enough for me just to make $50,000. That's all I wanted. Can you believe how much I was limiting myself? If 50,000 was all I wanted? I imagine sometimes the times I have said, all I want is, and we all pray to God about different things. All I need is, God, if you just give me XYZ. Sometimes I feel like God just sit on his throne and just look at us like, this poor child, she has no idea. She has no idea. I used to limit myself so much by thinking all I need is XYZ. Because in my mind, I felt like I needed to limit my desires because if I desired more, that was being greedy. Or if I desired more, that was being selfish. Like I needed to save something for somebody else. It sounds ridiculous now, but I felt like it was wrong to desire more than I need. And you know what that is? That's survival mode. That's survival mode. When you desire just enough to meet your needs, nothing more, nothing less, that's survival mode. And that will limit your ability to achieve financial freedom. Because if you have just enough to meet your needs, you will always be chasing the next dollar because you're always going to have needs. Your needs are going to change. Sometimes your needs increase. I know for me, as I've gotten older, my needs have increased, right? You're going to be stuck on that hamster wheel, constantly in survival mode because you're always going to be chasing the next dollar to meet your needs. So, in order to overcome that limiting belief, you have to stop putting limits on your earning ability and your wealth building potential. Don't put limits on it, right? Has a thought ever occurred to you? What if I had abundance? What if what if you had more than you needed? What if you had excess money? Is that a bad thing? And if you think that's a bad thing, if that the thought of that gives you any negative emotions, let me know. No judgment at all. We talked about this in one of my private coaching sessions with my private group, and that came up in conversation. So let me know. Does the thought of desiring abundance or having abundance, does that give you any negative emotion? Because sometimes people limit themselves because they feel like abundance is greedy or excessive, right? But here's my thing: if you are not a selfish person, if you have abundance, imagine all the things that you could do, not only for yourself to meet your basic needs, but you will have more to realize your dreams. You will have more to support causes that are near and dear to your heart. You will have more to help other people you love, right? Your children, your grandchildren, your mother, your sister, your auntie, your cousins, your community. So if you are inherently not a selfish person, abundance would benefit everyone that's connected to you. So why would you limit yourself to just enough to meet your own personal needs, right? And imagine whatever your dreams are. Sometimes we're afraid to dream because of those limiting beliefs. We feel like we don't deserve them, or we feel like it's not possible for us yet. But when you think about abundance and a life that you never thought was possible, but something you truly desire, like for me, I never imagined being work optional in my 40s. I always thought I would work until what's traditional retirement age? 65? Always thought I would work until 65. But I'm now work optional and I'm spending the summer in Europe. I never thought that was possible. Had you said that would be my life 10 years ago, I wouldn't have believed you. But financial freedom makes that possible. Abundance makes that possible, right? So, the way to overcome this limiting belief, I know I'm making suggestions and they're not easy to implement because limiting beliefs are a result of years and decades of conditioning. So, this is not something that you're going to overcome just by talking to me tonight. But I just want to plant the seed to help you think a little bit differently and to give you something to consider. But to overcome this limiting belief, I would suggest that you dare to dream. Envision abundance instead of survival. Because saying, I don't need to be rich, I don't need to be wealthy, I just want enough money to take a sabbatical, I just want enough money to quit this job. Well, what about in a year when the sabbatical was over? What about after you quit that job and 6 months later, then what? So I'm asking you to dare to dream and think bigger, not survival mode. Anytime you use the word, I just want, that's survival mode. That's survival mode with limiting beliefs. Envision abundance. Say what you want without limits. Say what you want without limits. Don't put a ceiling on yourself. The world does enough of that for us. Our society does enough of that for us. Don't put limits on yourself. Dare to dream. Has anyone ever experienced this limiting belief? Number two, let me see what y'all are saying in the comments. I think I'm behind a little bit. Superfood parents, hey, I recently went back to work to fund some of my dreams. Okay. I don't have limits though. I want it all. I know that's right, girlfriend. I want it all. Yes. I remember wishing for $50,000 a year. That was every, and girl, when I made that 50,000, I thought I was balling. Thought I was doing the dang thing. You couldn't tell me. You could, but in my mind, you couldn't tell me nothing because I paid it. I was making $50,000. Not before 10. Hey, girl. Hey. Good to see you again. Let's see, Cozy at Coco's. Yes, I actually have been thinking of that in recent years, and I don't feel bad about it. First time in my life. Okay. Maya Spikes. Hey, Maya. When I worked two jobs, my ultimate goal was to be able to work just one job that covered my bills. See, see, that's such a limiting belief because what's possible for you is so much bigger than that. What's possible for you is that one job that pays all of your bills and some, and pays more than that so you can take all the vacations you want. That pays more than that so you can stop working and take a sabbatical. You see the levels that you can go when you think bigger, when you dare to dream, put words to what you really desire without the limits. Right? See, Saunders said, I want more and don't understand why I have not received the abundance. I'm not laughing at you, sis, but I feel you. So my question back to you is, okay, you want more. So wanting and the desire is the first step. So that's overcoming the limiting belief. All right. So we on the same page with step one. After that, you got to put in some work. You got to put in some effort. So what are you doing to achieve that abundance? Oh, that tickled me. That tickled me. Too bad. Yes. Yes, girl. Those at Coco's. I don't remember anyone telling me that, but somehow I just always felt like it was selfish to want something more for yourself. Yeah, I feel like in general, our society makes Black women believe that we're selfish if we're not serving other people, if we're not mothers and sacrificing everything to take care of our children. That's a bad thing. It's a bad thing to desire something for yourself. If you're not a wife and you're not nurturing him and cooking and cleaning and doing his laundry, that's a bad thing. What kind of wife are you? Right? And then because we're modern women, so if you're not going to work and paying half of the bills, what kind of wife are you? So we are conditioned to believe that we are supposed to be in service to other people all the time. So that's why you feel selfish to want something for yourself. I'm pretty sure that's why. Our society conditions us to believe that we're supposed to serve. We're supposed to serve other people, take care of everyone else, and we're supposed to be last. So to say we want something for ourselves and we want abundance for ourselves, it's almost like, how dare you? What do you mean you want that for yourself? So I'm pretty sure that's where the thought comes from. Even if no one told you that directly, it's probably where it comes from. Yeah. She bad said, I've had those beliefs for so long. Yeah. Sandra said, does manifesting really work? I've never been able to make it happen. Um, I did not use the word manifesting intentionally because I don't really believe in manifesting myself. No, and that's not what I'm implying. I think in order to achieve anything, you have to first desire it and you have to believe that it's possible. That's the very first step of anything. And beyond that, and I think this may be the extra steps beyond manifesting, beyond that, you have to put action and effort behind what you desire. So when I was on welfare, I didn't just dream and hope that I would become financially free. As I say to all of my clients, hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a financial strategy. So I had to desire it first and believe it was possible. Because if I was always believing that the financial system was the enemy, if I was always believing that having just enough to get by was all that I deserved, I would have never achieved financial freedom, right? So I had to desire abundance first. And then I had to believe that it was possible for me in order for me to put the actions behind it to make it possible. So I'm not suggesting manifesting, but desire and belief comes first before anything can be possible. You understand what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. Superfood parents, abundance is a mindset that I've been changing towards more and more. Overflow is wonderful, isn't it? Overflow is wonderful. I I love it because financial freedom is not something that I desired or something that I enjoy now because I can buy all the things. I'm not a shopper. I don't own a lot of material things, but I like knowing that if my family calls me and say, Malika, I need, it's nothing. I may have a few questions because I'm not going to be a crutch for anyone. I may have a few questions, but if their situation is understandable and we can work through how the problem won't repeat itself, or they're willing to work with me on putting some financial corrective action in place, they can have it. I like that just this year, one of my cousins called me and said, Malika, I need you here on this date. I was in another country. I need you here on this date and I need you to help me do XYZ. And this is a cousin I love like a sister. There is nothing she can ask me for and I will tell her no. I just say, okay, tell me what date and tell me where you need me to be. And I said, okay, without even thinking twice about it because I have the abundance to do so. And she said my presence meant the world to her And what I was able to help her do, which was for another family member, also meant the world to her. And I did it without even thinking twice because it was my pleasure to do so. So to me, that's what abundance allows. That's what abundance create. It's not about things and stuff and the what you can do for yourself, which I treat myself very well. Don't get me wrong. I treat myself very well. People keep saying, "Oh, when are you going back to the United States?" I don't know. Whenever the spirit moves me. So I treat myself very well, but I also treat the people I love very well too, right? And even if I don't go back to the States anytime soon, I will probably be there on my grandson's birthday, right? I can't miss a major birthday. He has a milestone birthday coming up, so I will be there. I don't care if that flight costs me $3,000. I will be there. And that's what abundance does. That's what that overflow does. It doesn't always have to be about you. It's bringing joy to the people that you love that also bring you joy when you see them happy, right? Yes, yes, yes. All right, let me get back on track here. Let me get back on track. Shalom to 50K, mama. I mean, girl, look. And when I made that 50K, I went out and bought a new car. You could tell me nothing. I'm trying to tell you, you could tell me nothing. Super Bear, my question for you, Malika, is are you smiling for the camera or is that the smile that comes with work optional lifestyle? You look real comfortable with that status. Both, honey. Both. Both. My life is really good. My life is really good. Yeah. The day I had today was a 10. It was a 10. Yeah. What do you think of velocity banking to get rid of debt? Sis, I have no idea what velocity banking is. And that's one thing y'all will learn about me. I'm not ashamed of saying I don't know. I don't know. What is velocity banking? Let's ask Mr. Google real quick. I can't tell you what I think about it because I don't know what it is, but now I'm curious. What's velocity banking? But yeah, my coaching program, sometimes my clients ask me things. I'm like, girl, I don't know, but let's look it up together. Let's figure it out together. What is a velocity program? Hold on. I think I Googled the wrong thing. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm curious now. People typically enjoy velocity banking strategy to pay down mortgages faster. Unfortunately, using this strategy in this way, uh-oh. As it currently stands, mortgage interest is at an all-time low. You may have to deal with adjustable rates for your HELOC or personal line of credit, as many banks don't offer fixed. I don't like adjustable rates, so that's the first thing I saw. I can't answer that question because I don't know what velocity banking is. Sorry. Let's see. I've observed how other cultures Asians view and save money. Americans are taught to save 10% of their income. In the Asian culture, 30% is a starting point. I found that interesting. Huh. I never knew that. Okay. You know, one of my close friends is Asian. I'm going to ask her. Is 30% a starting point in what she was taught about saving? You know, I might have her on the channel to interview her about her money. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing it. I didn't know that. Superfood parents. Manifesting is real. It's the combination of believing, planning, and executing. Okay. Call it whatever, but do what's necessary. Okay. All right. Not before 10. You are right about Black women serving. When I left my government job early, my mother assumed I would be a caregiver for extended family. Lord, she just assumed you were going to take care of other people? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. I don't see any other questions. So I will move on to the next one. Oh, this other one about velocity. Isn't velocity banking using the line of credit to get out of debt? At least that's what I saw. That's just what I saw too when I did just a quick Google search and I saw something about adjustable rates and I clicked off. That can be dangerous. I mean, it's good when rates are low, but right now rates are higher than average and still rising. Even if I don't know anything about velocity banking, if it involves an adjustable rate loan and rates are as high as they are, and the Federal Reserve is still raising interest rates because inflation is still not at their target, no, sir, no, ma'am. No, thank you. Mm-mm. Last one, and then I'll get back to it. I promise. I keep seeing a lady in my recommended YouTube videos that suggests velocity banking. I'm skeptical of it. All I can say, sis, is educate yourself. Educate yourself before you execute or take any action on that suggestion. Um, just based on my quick little 10-second Google search, I saw something about a line of credit and adjustable rates, and that was a no for me. That was a no for me. But anyway, so the next thing that can make financial freedom impossible involves another limiting belief, and that is you think hard work leads to financial success. You think you have to work hard to achieve financial freedom. Girl, hard work don't do nothing but make you tired. Hard work don't do nothing but make you tired. So if you're exchanging your time for money, that is the exact design of capitalism, right? It's why you're stressed, you're overworked, you're exhausted, you barely have time to eat a decent meal to prioritize your health. Working hard does not lead to financial success. And in order to overcome that limiting belief, if you want to achieve financial freedom, you have to stop thinking that more money means you need to work more. I'm going to say that one more time. You have to stop thinking that more money means you need to work more. Usually, when you're thinking, I need to work more, that usually means more of your time. Your input is more of your time and your effort and your physical work or being of service to someone else in exchange for money. That's not what creates financial freedom. That's not what creates financial freedom. If that was the case, people that work 2 or 3 jobs would be financially free, right? More money doesn't mean you have to work more. If you want financial freedom, you have to learn how to create more money with your money, not with your time. Because as long as your output is money, and that's based on your input being productivity and work, then your wealth is limited because you're human. You can only work so many hours. You can only work so many jobs. You can only work so hard. At some point, if you continue to work hard consistently over a long period of time, what happens? almost like half of America, if not more than half, you burn out. As a human, you have limited capacity. Your money doesn't. But if you are constantly associating making more money with working more, when you burn out, then what? When you burn out, then what? Greta said hustle culture. Right. Mm-mm. But if you use your money to make money, at some point you'll be able to get off the hamster wheel. And at some point you'll be able to scale your wealth to financial freedom. But you'll never get to financial freedom if you associate more money with more work, right? I see someone in the comments, Sarah, talking about, yeah, Greta, hustle culture, hustle culture. Yeah. Hey, Kimmy. She said, I'm preaching. Superfood parents, I started investing in several simple ways. Yes. One of the ways of using your money to make money is investing. She says she started investing in several simple ways once I discovered that my money can make money. Yes. I look if I wasn't in this hotel, I would holler right now. She said, I love grand money. I love grand money better than the money I made. I know that's right, girl. I call it money babies. I let my money make money babies. I like my money babies. And if I spend any money, I'm not spending the principal that I had to work for. I'm spending the money babies. Let the money make money for you and then spend that. She said grand money. I like that. I like that. But yes, investing is the only way that you're going to achieve financial freedom. And there's different ways of investing. You know, there's real estate investing. You can invest in businesses. There's investing in the stock market. There's a lot of different ways to invest. I personally achieve financial freedom by investing in the stock market, but I'm not saying the stock market is the only way of doing it, but you have to invest in something. Hard work does not build financial freedom. Saving does not build financial freedom. You will never save yourself to wealth. It ain't gonna happen. You have to invest in something. I was on welfare for 10 years. I achieved financial freedom by investing, not by working hard. Although I had a good job and made a good salary, whatever that means to people these days. But if that is what I relied on, my work and my input to continue making that money, I would always need to work to continue making that money. I haven't worked in over a year. I haven't worked since May 12th, 2022. I still make money because my money is making, I'm going to use superfood parents' words, my money is making grand money. My money is making money babies, right? So you do that through investing, which, by the way, if you want to learn how to invest for financial freedom, my group coaching program, Invest with Ease, is open for enrollment. I will leave let's see, let me put it on. I will leave a link in the description box and I will put it in the comments. It's open for enrollment, and if you enroll by September 15th, you can use the code FREEDOM to save 15%. Use the code FREEDOM to save 15%. I am going to put that in the comments as well. But that is the link to enroll in Invest with Ease. Our kickoff meeting is going to begin on October 3rd. I think that's what I decided. The kickoff is going to be October 3rd. So if you enroll, come join us so you can learn how to invest with ease. I consider investing with ease no random stock picking, no hours of research, no guessing and hoping your stock is going to go up. Hope is not a strategy. I teach you a real strategy. No stress when you see red in the stock market. No chasing the latest financial trends. No following the stock market news or staring at charts all day. You do have to understand the news, but you don't have to be following it and reading it all day long. Invest with Ease. I will teach you how to invest correctly. So many people invest and don't know what they're doing. They're gambling. I will teach you how to invest correctly. I will teach you how to manage risk so you can limit your losses in the stock market. And I will teach you how to create an investing action plan to build your first six-figure investment portfolio. If you already have six figures, we will work on seven figures. But the link is scrolling across the banner. It's in the comments, and I will also include it in the description box. And like I said, if you enroll by September 15th, use code FREEDOM to get 15% off. And we're going to kick off on October 3rd. Any comments about number 3? Hard work does not lead to financial success, sis. Your input, your productivity, and your time does not create financial freedom. No, ma'am, she bad. I do not teach trading. Investing is not trading. Investing for the long term builds wealth. Trading creates income. Trading is short term to create income. I teach my clients how to build wealth, how to build sustainable wealth so they can be work optional. I do not teach trading. Let's see, Kimmy. I'm in the debt payoff stage of my journey. I did invest in my old job 401k. That's awesome. That's awesome, Kimmy. So, what did you do with that 401k when you left the job? You refer to it as your old job. So, what did you do with the 401k when you left the job? Let me know. Melissa, are the meetings recorded? Yes. Yes, every session will be recorded and you will have access to all the recording for 1 year. 1 year. How long is the program? For 8 weeks. We will meet starting on October 3rd, every week for 8 weeks. Good questions. Good questions. Let's see. Simone B. See what Simone talking about. I'm going to work harder to make more money, but I have a time limit to reach my goal. What do you mean by that, Simone? Tell me more. What do you mean by that? All right. I think I went through all the comments. So let's get into the last one. This is the last one. I'm not going to hold you guys too long. We've already been on for over an hour. I think most of my lives end up lasting about an hour and a half. So we're right on track. So we're good. But the last one, this is the last thing that can make financial freedom impossible. And it is, you think financial freedom is not attainable. You think financial freedom is not attainable for you. And I say that because I hear and read so many people say only rich white people that are born with a silver spoon in their mouths can have financial freedom. Now, while they may be the vast majority of wealthy people, I'm not denying that, they are not the only wealthy people, right? I did a little research before I got on this live because this was one of the comments and part of the conversation that I was reading in the social media chatter. But I found an article from Yahoo Finance that was just published earlier this year, and they were quoting a study that said 79% of millionaires are self made, meaning they did not receive an inheritance and their parents were not wealthy. The study quoted by Yahoo Finance, it found that self-made millionaires share core characteristics. It was ambitious goals. I was like, because honey, sometimes my goals be whoo. If I were to share some of my goals with some people, well, most of the people that are close to me, they know me very well. So they'll be like, yeah, that sounds like you. Because that's just the way I've always been. But if I were to share my goals with people that don't know me, they would look at me like, are you for real? But having ambitious goals, seeking mentorship. Yes, I have a mentor and I have a coach. I'm a financial coach and I also have a financial coach. I'm sure you guys have heard me say that before because there's levels. There's levels to this wealth game. So I have a financial coach too. But they seek mentors, they take calculated risk. Yes, you cannot build wealth if you're not willing to take risk. Calculated risk, though, meaning you've analyzed the data, you determine the worst case scenario, and you determine how to mitigate that risk or how to manage it if that worst case scenario were to happen, right? So that's the meaning of calculated risk. Another core characteristic of self made millionaires is they learn from failure. They learn from failure. Because of the experiences in my life, all the hardships that I've overcome, I really don't see anything as failure anymore. If something doesn't work out for me, I just see it as a learning opportunity. Because if there's something I really, really want, I can fail 1,000 times. I'm still going to try again. So I see those types of situations as what can I learn from this and what can I do differently next time? But the last core characteristic of self made millionaires is they diversify their investments. They diversify their investments. Yes. And that's one of the things I teach in Invest with Ease, diversifying your investments. That's part of the curriculum under managing risk, diversifying your investments. So I can relate to all of these. And I would add one more thing and take it a step further that not all self-made millionaires, because I shared this with a friend and she's like, yeah, that's true. Self-made millionaires, not all of them, have an inheritance, or they may not have wealthy families, but they have privilege. Do they? I would say that not all self-made millionaires have privilege either. Some start from absolutely nothing, like I did. Remember, I was on welfare for 10 years. I was a food stamp recipient. I remember, ooh, this thought just came to me, took me way back. But I remember, because I have no shame with any of my past experiences, so I don't mind sharing this. But I remember feeding my daughter a can of green beans for dinner because that was all we had until my next food stamp allotment. That was all we had in the house until my next food stamp allotment. The memories that come to me randomly are just so wild. They're wild. And when I think about them, it almost feels like it was recent. It almost feels like it was so recent. The feeling that it brings back to me because I'll never forget them. I'll never forget them. And to be honest, I never want to because those memories are what keep me grounded. They are what keep me grounded. But I also get joy in acknowledging that that was my life, but that's my past now. Because today, I have what's called the freedom trifecta. The freedom trifecta, that financial freedom, that time freedom, and the location freedom. My work optional. I get to do what I want, whenever I want, and I can live wherever in the world that I want. And I could say that as a person who was on welfare for 10 years. So I'm sharing that because I want you to stop thinking that financial freedom is impossible for you. Or I want you to stop discounting what's possible for you and thinking about things like, oh, what I didn't have growing up, or this person can do it because she has privilege, or this person can do it because his parents did this for him, or what no one ever taught you when you were growing up, or your parents didn't teach you this, they didn't teach you that, or whatever your life circumstances are now. Life is hard, the system is oppressive, all the things. I get it. I get it. All of that. And I'm not saying any of it is not true. I'm not saying any of it is not valid. Let's acknowledge it. It's true. The system is oppressive, especially to people of color, and especially is double oppressive to us as women of color. It's a fact. It's a fact that we can't change. But what can we leverage to change our circumstances and to get what we really want? So when you look at me, Malika, I'm just a regular chick from around the way. I'm not white. I wasn't born with a silver spoon. I didn't receive any inheritances. My mother was also a single teenage mother. I need to stop telling her business. But that's my truth, right? I was on welfare for 10 years. I was a welfare statistic. And because it was almost 10 years, I would probably be considered a welfare queen or whatever term that they use. So I definitely didn't have any privilege. So if someone who looks like you has achieved financial freedom, now I'm not going to say, oh, if I can do it, you can do it too. I actually hate when people say that. So I'm not going to say that. But at minimum, I'm proof that it's possible. I'm proof that it's possible for you. I am you. Right? So, any final thoughts on what makes financial freedom possible? Let me review your comments here. So, Simone says she's going to get a part time job to reach my goal to walk away from full time by 50. I think I may have read something out of order, Simone. I'm sorry, I don't know what that's in response to. I'm sorry, sis. I'm not following the context of that. Uh, Ishuao Sharon. I'm so sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Look, I need to start investing because my plan is to move abroad to maybe France. Awesome. You see the link streaming across the banner. Join Invest with Ease, my group coaching program. Join me, sis. Enroll by September 15th. Use Freedom for 15% off. Join me. Let's do the thing. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see what my girl Greta talking about. I was considering a second job, but decided to scratch that idea. My health comes first. My health comes first. I know that's right. I'm not working myself to death. I know that's right. My body is feeling things now and had to slow my roll. I know that's right, sis. I have never ever worked more than one job. I ain't built for it. I ain't about that life. Mm-mm. I would either make I would prefer to make more money at my current job or make my money make money. That's it. And eventually, when your money making more money than you making by working, baby, it's time to go. It's time to go. Is it too late to start at 38? I'm assuming you're asking, is it too late to start investing? Is that what you're asking? And if so, absolutely not. It is not too late. So, sis, we talking about what it depends on what your goals are. What are you asking? Is it too late for? But let's say you live until you're 85 years old. I think that's like the average life expectancy these days for Americans. Let's say you live until you're 85 years old. You're 38 now. Y'all know I don't do mental math. I know y'all hear me say this every live. You're 38. That's 47 years. That's more. You have more life left than life you've already lived. So you have 47 years of needing money. So let's say you invest aggressively for the next 10 years. That's still your entire life that you have to live. That still leaves you with 37 years to live. Do you know how much more comfortable you would be if your money was making money babies for you? You see where I'm going with this? No, ma'am, it's not too late for you to start investing at 38. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Superfood parents, I can't lie. I love hate food. I can't lie. I love hate food stamps. They're useful when buying some. But food stamps can limit self-sustainability, resourcefulness. I may have not bought. The only reason why I'm laughing because I understand. Listen, when I was getting food stamps, child, me and my daughter, we were eating good. We were eating good. And you could tell when the food stamp allotment first came out because it would be a whole bunch of us in the grocery store piling up them carts with all kinds of steaks, all the good snacks, not the store brand snacks, the good snacks. So, yes, I remember those days. I loved it too. The downside, though, of food stamps and getting back to limiting beliefs and limiting mentality. And I'm saying this because I did it too. Um, when I first started getting off welfare, I used to look at how much money I was making from a job because I didn't want to make too much for them to lower my welfare benefits. And you see how that can keep you in a cycle of scarcity? So let's say if I worked a part-time job and I was making, I'm just making up numbers. I was making $1,000 a month, right? And my benefits wouldn't change that much. But as soon as I made 1,200, my food stamps will be lowered by $100. So you're really only getting $100 ahead. But if you make 1,500, your food stamps will be completely cut off. So when I first started getting off welfare and I first started making a little money, I would make sure my income stayed just enough below so that my benefits wasn't cut off. Do you realize how ridiculous that sounds right now? Just me saying it out loud. I can't believe I did that. It's almost like I preferred living in scarcity and I wanted to maintain just enough so I can keep my benefits. What about reframing that? And I'm not saying this applies to you. In fact, let me remove your comment because this doesn't apply to you. But what about reframing that? If your food stamps are $200 a month and your food stamps will be cut off if you made, let's say you made $1,000 and your food stamps wouldn't be cut off. But if you made 1,200, your food stamps will be cut off. And you try to stay under 1,200 because you don't want your food stamps cut off. How about reframing that and think, how can I make 1,400 so that when my food stamps are cut off, I still have an extra $200 to make up for what I'm missing from the food stamp benefit? You see what I'm saying? So think more instead of less, and keeping yourself in that limiting box. Let's get out of that box. Let go of the chains and the shackles that was created by the system, that same system that we criticize. Let's let go of those shackles from that system and rise above it, right? And superfood parents, that wasn't in response to your comment, but it just reminded me of it because I used to do it. Let's see, C. Saunders. I like how transparent you are. It is definitely not easy out here, even for those multiple degrees and a good job. I know that's right. I understand. I understand. That's that hamster wheel. That's that cycle that was designed to keep you on the hamster wheel. You get the degrees, you go into student loan debt, you get the good job. And once you get the good job, you got to buy all the things to show that you got a good job. And then all those things have payments, and then you need the job. And then that once good salary wasn't enough. Now you need more. Girl, it's just a cycle. It's a cycle, and it's part of that system. So, my whole message to you tonight was to learn how the system actually works and then leverage it. Use it to your advantage to break the cycle, right? Use it to break the cycle. Let's see. What else? Um, Midlife money moves, I understand. Okay. Thank you for your transparency. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Let's see, Kimmy. I think I made a slight mistake before I left my job. I maxed out my 401k, saved some cash to help with the transition, but something unexpected popped up and wiped half of it out, so I used credit. So you wiped half of what out? The cash that you saved or what you put into your 401k? I'm not sure if I follow what you're saying. If you wiped out half the cash that you saved, that's not a mistake. That's fine. That's why you saved the money, right? So something unexpected came up. Life happens, sis. You had savings. Those, I'm about to use a term that I use in my coaching program. I teach my clients to refer to their money as their employees because they are the incorporation. So my company is Malika Incorporated. Every dollar that I earn is an employee that works for Malika Incorporated. So those dollars that was in my savings account, they had a job. And if you needed to use those employees when something unexpected popped up, that's a good thing. Those employees did their job, right? So I'm not sure what you meant by a slight mistake if you use half of your cash that you saved up. Let me know what you meant by that. Let's see. Melissa, when you say invest aggressively, how much a month? How much can you afford? How much can you afford to invest a month? Totally up to you. There, with investing, with personal finance, achieving financial freedom, even your fire number, everything is unique to you. There are no rules, there are no ground rules. There's nothing about personal finance that's black and white. That's why I don't budget. That's why I don't teach my clients to budget. I don't follow any strict rules about anything. I believe that personal finance is personal and everything should be tailored to you. The way I manage my money, the way I invest, the risks that I take, I don't think every client that I coach should do the same thing. In fact, none of the clients that I coach, I would suggest do the same thing because our risk tolerance is different, our lives is different, our responsibilities are different. Everything about your money should be tailored to you. So there is no specific amount. It totally depends on how much you can comfortably afford to invest. So I hope that helps. All right, finding what's true to me. That's a cute name. Coming in late, but this is such a good topic. Yes, when you start reaching 50, it must transition to health. Your health must comes first. I'm glad you said mental. Mental and physical health. Yes. And let your money make money. Your health is your wealth. Your health is your wealth. I take what I call a wealth walk every single day. Every single day. And I try to get in at least 10,000 steps a day because you can have all the money in the world. You can have multi millions, you can have billions of dollars in your net worth, in your investment account. If you're sick, if you are spending your money every single month on medication, what does it matter? If your quality of life is low, and you're not enjoying every single day because you're sick and you're medicated, you're not mobile, you can barely move, what does it matter how much money you have? It doesn't. And I always think about Steve Jobs, the guy that created Apple, my favorite company in the world. When he was sick and on his deathbed, he was the head of the most powerful company in the world. Apple is now the wealthiest company in the world. I think it is the only company that has a $2 trillion market cap in our stock market. But the creator of that company was on his deathbed, had the money and the power, but he was sick. And I'm not using him as an example to point out the type of illness that he had. But my point is, you can have it all, but without your health, none of it matters. None of it matters. So your health must come first. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. He said, we all got stories to tell. I know that's right. I know that's right. Let's see. Used to work a second job at a place that shall remain nameless. I understand. I don't talk about my employer either. I don't say the name of it anyway, but it rhymes with don't. Never again work as smarter and not. I know, right? Shalonda, it's funny. I know, right? How many clients are you taking? Do you mean in the Invest with Ease group coaching program? In that group coaching program, I try to keep the cohort small. I'll probably cap it at no more than 15 ladies. At no more than 15 ladies. But if you're talking about one-on-one clients, I don't do one-on-one coaching. Um, since I'm retired, I'm free. So I cannot take on a whole lot of one-on-one clients because that would feel too much like work. So I like to help, I like to coach, I like to teach, and I prefer to do that in a group setting. That way I get more bang for my buck, or more, not more bang for my buck, but more bang for my time. So I'm spending 1 hour or 2 hours teaching multiple people versus spending that 2 hours just teaching one person. So if you want to work with me, join Invest with Ease. The link right across the bottom, and I'll put it in the description box. Enroll by September 15th to get 15% off using the code FREEDOM. So join us in the group program. Okay? Yeah, Social Security works the same way. Yeah, before, if you take Social Security early, I think before you turn 65, if you still work, if you earn too much money, it will reduce your Social Security check. Girl, listen, whenever I'm eligible for Social Security, if it's still around when I'm eligible, I'm taking it as soon as I'm eligible, whether I need the money or not. I'm taking it as soon as I'm eligible. And I promise you, I won't be working. Or at least I'm not gonna make too much to exceed their limit so they can cut my check. And the only reason why I am saying that when I get Social Security is because by then I'm definitely not planning to be working to earn income. Absolutely not. Not by that age. I'll definitely be done by then. But yeah, I think after age 65, there is no limit. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know. Yeah. Pink Door Diva said, I'm still on welfare now, but I own my own business, so I have to be crafty to make it work to my benefit right now. Okay. So are you strategizing your business revenue so that you can get off welfare and make up for the benefits that will be lost? Is that what you mean by being crafty? Let me know. Okay, if you take Social Security before 67. Okay, okay. Thanks for the correction there. Let's see. Any other questions? Let me look for questions. If you have any questions about your personal finance journey, feel free to ask me. Feel free to ask me. I would love to answer your questions. If someone would have told us all this in our 20s, I know for myself, I would have been a millionaire now. I I'm glad that what I'm sharing is helpful, but I want you to reframe that statement and say, I'm glad I know this now. I'm glad I know this now, and this is what I'm going to do with this information, right? Because we can't change the past. We can't change what no one told us in our 20s. No one told me any of this either. I had to learn it on my own, right? But I'm here, I'm sharing with you now from my experiences, from what I know, from my expertise. So you know it now. So, what are you going to do with the information now? Collecting data from YouTube, from all over the internet, from social media, and just writing it down or just storing it in your mental Rolodex, that's doing nothing for your finances. So, now that you know it, what are you doing with that information? Tell me. Okay, let me answer my question. You wiped out half the cash, but turned to credit cards. Now I have debt that I'm working to clear. Okay, so the debt is the mistake that you're referring to. Okay, but wiping out the cash, that's not a bad thing. Don't think that's a bad thing. Again, those employees had a job. Those employees were in your savings account and they had a job and they did their job. They did your job, sis. So don't feel bad about that. But the credit card debt, okay, you're working to clear it up. Sounds good to me. You're working to clear it up. Do you recommend investing while still in debt? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you can do both, especially if you are employed and you have access to employer sponsored investment accounts. If you don't contribute to those accounts, you're losing money. So if you have access to a 401k and your employer offers you a match up to a certain percentage, even if you are in debt, I want you to invest up to that percentage of your employer match so you can get the match because that's free money. That's like a 100% return on what you put in. So if you put in $100, your employer going to put in $100. Get that free $100 and pay off your debt too. Now, you may not be able to afford to contribute more than that while you're paying off debt, but at least get that match. So that's what I mean by yes, you can do both, especially if there is a benefit associated with the investment account. 401k has tax advantages and you get free money from your employer. So, yes, yes, do both. Now, after you do that match, I wouldn't suggest that you continue to invest in other ways because if you have credit card debt, for example, and that credit card debt has a double digit interest rate, that's very expensive debt. So you want to prioritize that to get that paid off. But if you have a 401k with your employer that offers you a match, do both. Don't lose that free money. Do both. Okay? Yeah, Mike's a good question about investing while in debt. Yes, yes. Let's see. Finding what's true to me. Can you use your 401k to pay off your high interest credit cards? I'm going to answer in two ways. Can you? Which is your exact question? Sure, you can. You can take out a loan against your 401k to pay off your high interest credit cards. You can even take a withdrawal and pay taxes and a penalty to pay off your high interest credit card. So, to answer your question exactly the way you worded it, can you? Yes, you can. Would I recommend it? That's a completely different question. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And the reason why I would not recommend it is because if you take an early withdrawal out of your 401k, if you're not age 59 and a half, and you take an early withdrawal, you're going to pay taxes and you're going to pay a 10% penalty. And you're taking that money to pay off high interest credit card debt. But what you'll be losing from your 401k will far exceed the credit card debt. And then on top of that, if you haven't addressed the underlying issue that led to you accruing that credit card debt, and you've used your future money to pay for current debt, and then you turn around and run the debt right back up again. It's like you've dinged yourself like 3 or 4 times already. And that's before I even consider the compound interest you're going to be losing out on. That's a whole nother conversation. So, can you? Yeah, you can. Would I recommend it? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I would say put together a financial plan to stop the bleeding, to figure out why you have accumulated that high interest debt. Stop the bleeding first, and then put together a debt reduction plan and aggressively pay off that credit card debt. There are different strategies. There are a whole lot of other alternatives that you can consider before your 401k. I would consider the 401k as an absolute last, like lower than the last resort, absolute last resort. So please, no, don't do that. Consider other options first. Can you take your Social Security anywhere? What do you mean by that? Are you planning to move abroad? Not sure what you mean by that. Will you still receive your Social Security check if you live in another country? Is that what you're asking? Um, Let me know what you're saying by that. Let's see. I have a pension. I'm turning 50 in 1 year. Would Coast Fire or Barista Fire look What would Coast Fire or Barista Fire look like for me? I already work part time and am able to cover expenses. So I did a video on the 5 types of financial independence, and I broke down Coast Fire and Barista Fire. So go back on my channel and look for the video called 5 Ways to Retire Early. I think that's the name of it. And look at that video, and I break both of those down. And it will show you how to do your financial independence calculation that's tailored to you, that's unique to you, so you can determine what that looks like for you. Okay, so go back and watch that video. I hope that helps. All right. What do you think is the best way to pay down student loans? What do you think IBR payment plans? What's IBR? I haven't had student loans in so long. I don't remember those acronyms, but the best way to pay down student loans. Um, let's hope and pray Uncle Joe forgive him. Let's hope and pray Uncle Joe forgive him. I'll be honest, student loans, if I had debt and student loans was the only debt I had, I would not lose any sleep at night. I would not lose any sleep at night. And especially if your student loan debt was low interest debt. That's definitely a debt I would have and invest at the same time. If your debt is low interest debt, I wouldn't be in a rush to pay it off. I'll be honest. I'm not sure what IBR means. I can't remember. I've been out of the student loan game for a long time. I can't remember what that means. Thank you for all this information. I'm getting better at using the language I need to communicate this stuff with my spouse because I grew up poor and I'm not going back. I like that. I'm not going back. Absolutely, sis. Don't go back. Don't go back there. I ain't never going back on welfare either. I don't care if I lose it all. I don't care if by the grace of God something happens and it's all taken away. Like I always say, nobody can take away what I know. And because of what I know, I can always rebuild it. That's why I say join my Invest with Ease group coaching program, because once you know it, nobody can ever take it away. Oh, thank you, Shalonda. IBR, income-based repayment. Oh, okay. So what was the question? What's the best way to pay down student loans? What do you think about income-based repayment plans? It depends on your interest rate. It depends on your interest rate. If the interest rate is low, that's not a debt I would be worried about paying off. And the reason why I say that is because even if you invest in the stock market in a very passive way, on average, the stock market returns about 10% a year. I don't know what current student loan interest rates are, but are they more than 5%? So if your interest rates on the student loans are low, that's not a debt I would be concerned about paying off quickly because you can earn more by investing. And if you invest and accumulate a large lump sum in your investments, then just pay it off completely later on. But I'm not a fan of paying off low interest debt. I'm not a fan of paying off low interest debt. Okay. So more people came through with the explanation. I appreciate that, y'all. Income-based repayment plans. All right. So I answered that question. Okay. That was the last one. I think I got through everything. So in student loans is the only debt that you have. Okay. Are you investing? Yeah, I have so many. And that's the thing about coaching. There isn't one right answer to things. Again, personal finance is personal. It really depends on your total financial picture, all the other branches to your financial tree, right? So there isn't any one answer that I could give you. I would want to know what the interest rate are on your loan. I would want to know, are you investing? I would want to know what your monthly cash flow is like. There's so much I would need to know in order to give you a response. So I can't really answer personal, unique to you type questions on a live or on YouTube. You would have to join one of my coaching programs to get more specific, unique input. Okay. What percentage is low interest? Okay, this is the last question. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I consider anything less than 5% low interest. And I base that on the rate of return you can get in the stock market. So when you're investing, on average, the return in the stock market is about 10% a year. So if the interest rate on a loan is half of that or less, to me that's low interest debt. Right. So that's just a Malikaism. That's not a fact. It's not a rule of thumb or anything. But if I can make more money, if my money can make more money, babies, faster than whatever I'm paying on this debt, I would rather make money. I would rather make money. Right. So, yeah. So we'll wrap it up there. I hope I answered all of your questions. My phone is ringing and I don't know why. I'll answer that in a minute. But anyway, I hope I answered all of your questions. I feel like we got a little groove going here with coming on and hanging out live every Friday night at 7 p.m. Does that work for y'all? Because we've been doing this now for about, I think, 2 or 3 times, and it works for me. It works for me just fine. So I think this will be our schedule from now on. So Friday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be here. Same place, same time, every week. If this was helpful, please like the video and share it with everyone you know because financial freedom is possible for you too. If you don't take anything else away from this live, I want you to know that financial freedom is possible for you too. Okay. And don't forget, Invest with Ease is open for enrollment. The link will be in the description box. If you enroll by September 15th, use code FREEDOM for 15% off, and we will kick off our first meeting on October 3rd. And I remember the question that was asked. Yes, these sessions will be recorded, and you will have access to the recordings for a whole year. So until next time, continue learning and continue investing so you can live what you love. All right. Bye for now.